Donc, je m'appelle Frédéric Harper, malheureusement. Je pense que je t'avais de ne plus faire cette joke-là. Ça s'en vient tranquillement, mais aucune relation avec qui vous pensez. Et je suis avec mon ami Ray, de mon chaos. Sounds like cats. Yeah, that probably makes sense. Donc, aujourd'hui, je ne sais pas, je m'en ai de monde qui vient de Toronto, qui ne parle pas français. Épouvantable. Donc, la présentation va se faire Montreal style. Donc, je vais prendre faire la suite de la présentation en anglais. Si des choses que vous ne comprenez pas, si vous avez des questions en français, ne vous gênez pas. Comme vous pouvez voir, je suis francophone, je parle français. Donc, aujourd'hui, on vient vous parler. Je venais de dire qu'on allait faire en anglais. So, my name is Fred. I work in a tech company. Actually, I'm a freelancer at Alliance Working. Basically, I'm offering software development solution, but also helping companies to be successful with business development, outreach, and visibility. And it's funny because I generate working at Microsoft. I'll let him introduce later. Yeah, so he's going to introduce himself later. But actually, I used to work at Microsoft at some point in my life. I was a technical evangelist there. My role was to help developers being successful with their technology. And today's presentation, we have 45 minutes. We won't take 45 minutes of your time. You're still eating, you're with friends, you're networking with people. But we still wanted to take some time to talk about infrastructure as a service at Microsoft. Why Microsoft is here. Why Microsoft is talking about cloud. Why Microsoft is in like S2LQ, which is an open source, which is a free software, which is about playing well together. Like it's a conference that is all about open technology. So why we are here today? And again, I'm not working at Microsoft anymore, but I'm still a huge believer about what you're doing right now. And Ray would have been able to do the talk himself. Really knowledgeable man, great guy, new hire at Microsoft. I think did a great job to hire that man. But the thing is that they needed a beautiful face to make the presentation a little bit better. So they asked me to come. So they needed a beautiful face to make it even better. So let me start. I don't know if some of you already seen this picture. And probably the Microsoft people will probably, hate me about putting this in the slides. But I don't want us. I don't want people in the tech industry. I don't want developers. I don't want IT pro. I don't want myself. I don't want people at Microsoft to forget where the industry was a couple of years ago. How the idea of open source, the idea of software development, proprietary software, how all those technologies were not always playing well together. You won't like me if I say this again, but 15 years ago, Ballmer said at some point, Linux is a cancer. I was like, shit. That's shit. Like, that is not good. And I was not working at Microsoft at that time, and to be honest, I was really not a huge fan of Microsoft at all. I was always using Linux as my main OS. I was doing some open source development, and I was not a fan because of those type of statements. It's okay if you are one of the biggest software companies out there, but you need to play well with others. And it's a long time ago. It's a couple of years ago. It's 10 plus years ago. Microsoft was not playing well with others. And I think we all know this. If you've been in the industry for just like a couple of years, you know this. If you've been in the industry and you're a little bit older than me, maybe, you've been in the industry for long enough to know that it was the case. It was not easy to use different type of technology. And Microsoft was not playing well with others. Let's be honest. Not too long ago. I don't know if some of you saw those banners in the sponsor room near the buffet. Make one not work. It's something we started when I was at Microsoft. And I'm not saying this to brag, look at me, I started something at Microsoft. No. The idea behind Make One Not War was a Canadian brand. So I cannot talk for every Microsoft sub. But in Canada, we started something called Make One Not War. And the idea was to, hey, we did some errors in the past. We're not always friendly. But can we stop fighting? And can we just try to make the web better? In our case, My focus was about web technology. I've always mostly been a web guy. And we wanted to say, okay, let's stop fighting. Let's make the web a better place to be. Let's make a web a better place to go. Let's make those developers more happy to code every day, use the technology they want. So we started a conference in 2011, something like this. We started the first one in Vancouver, and guess what? The only Microsoft speakers were there were myself and another technical evangelist. Because my role at Microsoft was a technical evangelist. And I was talking with a lawyer before, and he was like, oh my God, I really don't like the word evangelist. Like, it's too much about religion. But let's be honest. I was not going to church every Sunday. My role had no relation with religion at some point. But when we think about technology, there's always some kind of religion about technology. Like, how many people in the room got an iPhone? Nobody? Yeah, it's an open source conference. Huh? So, how many people got an Android phone in the room? Would you tomorrow change for an iPhone? Never. Why? Because you love it. Because it's the best device out there. Because it's the device you use. I have an iPhone. I don't like Android, sorry. I don't like it. I like the idea. I like the software as it is. I don't like those phones for different reasons. I have my reasons. You have your reasons. Tomorrow, I will not change for another device. And sometimes it's not for a good reason. It's maybe just because I'm used with it. It's because I think that those are the best technology ever. But technology is about this. Sometimes we go for customers, we're going to say, hey, let's do this in Ruby. Why? Because this is a technology I know and I love, and this is the only best technology out there. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not true. So there's always that kind of religion mentality behind technology. So it's why I was an evangelist. And it's why we created that Make Well Not War. We said, okay, Microsoft was not quite open. Let's try to make it a little more open by doing some baby steps. We started to work in the community. We started to be involved with some influencers. Some of them, Sam is there. I saw Marc Laporte at some places. We started to work with those influencers. Those people were always in the open source ecosystem community to get feedback, to learn about them, to trying to educate people outside of Microsoft about, hey, we are a little more open, but also educate people inside of Microsoft. Because let's be honest, this is huge. So if you want to move a huge ship, it takes so much time. And today, I love that guy. I really love that guy. And I think we're putting too much on his shoulder because it's not just because of him. But let's be honest, when the top men in the big companies say, I think the first email was sent to the employees after he got nominated as the new CEO of Microsoft. One of the sentences was, there is no reason, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not quite sure if it was exactly like this, but it was, there is no reason Microsoft cannot be the biggest open source company out there. The CEO sending this to more than 100,000 employees. This is crazy. So Microsoft right now is not anymore about like, hey, we got a wire coming from the open source and trying to change the mentality. It's coming from the top. And it's really coming from the top. This guy is really dedicated to make Microsoft more open. This guy is dedicated to play well with others, to make Microsoft technology more open. And we can argue about the reasons. Let's be honest, Microsoft's a business. At the end of the day, the goal is to make money. Let's be honest. I have a business. I want to please my customer. I want to deliver the best quality work that I can. I will do everything to make you successful. But I'm a business. I need to make money. I need to do a living. So we still need to be honest with this for whatever reason. And I think there is good reason to move forward, to be more open, to play well with others. And I think you're taking the right decision based on great ideas. But we need to understand that it's a company too. So what I see with all those changes, and further we're going to go a little more technical. I'm just the guy who was saying beautiful phrases, sentences. But Ray will go a little more technical to explain to you about Azure and the fact that it's more open. But what I see tomorrow is not about, hey, is Microsoft going to be the biggest open source company or not? Is more people in the room will play with Microsoft technology, will try it, or will get over their past experience? my goal, and it was always my goal when I was an evangelist, when I was talking to people, when I do those kind of talks for Microsoft. I used to work for Mozilla too. I want developers to be able to choose the technology they want, to choose the technology they know, to choose the technology that makes sense for their customers. No matter if it's coming from Google, from Microsoft, from Apple, from Red Hat, no matter the company, I don't care. I want people to use the technology they want, and I want people to be able to have a great experience, no matter the platform you choose. Always by thinking about your customers, but always by thinking about yourself. I don't know for you, I think it's so important that at work, we have fun. We work for like 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 hours per week sometimes. But not me, but some people do. I want to have fun. I want to be able to use the technology that I love the most to be the most successful with. So I can see tomorrow where we're going to be able to use the technology we want. And we're going to stop to fight about like those kind of like technology religion about like, oh no, this is the only good, or this is not good because it's coming from that company and this company. So let's just use what makes sense for us, and let's try to work together to make it happen. So if we go back to today, how many developers are in the room? How many IT pro? Maybe? DevOps-ish? The other people? What are you doing? Nothing? Have no job? What are you doing here? It's a technical conference, no? Okay, it's a conference about technology. So let me be a little bit, I don't know, pretentious about developers' work. I think that developers, at least, and I don't know for the other type of jobs, but I think that developers, we are creating art with a capital A. We start from nothing. Sometimes we start with some complicated things. And we create art. I always put H in front of A, I don't know why, but art, A-R-T. We're creating art. Is it WordPress that say like code is poetry? Poetry? No, nobody's going to help me with that word. Just looking at me and laughing. Poetry, is it good? Yeah. Y'all speak French like nobody understands English. And you're like, hey, what is this guy's talking about? Yeah, interesting. It's Montreal. So to be able to make art, it's just like we need to be able to use the tools that make sense for us. And I remember when I was at Microsoft, it was a pain in the ass to try to put stuff open source. Because legal department, it was so complicated. So we had to find ways to do this. But thinking about GitHub was like, oh no. Like, no. And when I look today at GitHub, they use GitHub pages. Like if you go on Microsoft.github.io, you got pages with all the repo from Microsoft. They got ton shit of those. They open ASP.NET, Visual Studio Code. There is many repos out there. So it's a new way of thinking. Of course, not everything is open source. And please, it's not perfect. Let's be honest. But it's going in the right direction. And I know it's kind of like a product pitch-y. I'm like, hey, you should love Microsoft, blah, blah, blah. It's not what I'm trying to do today, even if it looks like. My goal is just to make you think about the world is changing, the technology is changing, the ecosystem is changing. I want you to be more open about what's next for you, what's going to be the next technology, and trying to put some misconception, or really maybe true conception that you got in the past, but put them aside and really start with a fresh start. And really think about, okay, this is good for me. You try it, you don't like it, it's not for you, fine. This is how we work. This is how I'm trying new technology usually, but I don't care where the technology is coming from. I have some technology I prefer, let's be honest. But keep that open mind. And I don't know for you, like Microsoft people just bragged about it recently, and I was like, I'm so proud of you guys. Maybe that means nothing, but for me I think it means a lot. Like GitHub in their annual conference, they announced which companies were the biggest, had the biggest number of contributors on GitHub. Microsoft was number one. Think about it. No matter if it was good code, no matter like how many repo, how many lines of code, think about lines of code. But like, no matter how they made it, it's probably not like just like shitty stuff. It's probably not like a whole demo example for conferences that we put on a GitHub repo. No, they put a lot of great code. They put some software. Again, not everything is there. Like, they did not open source Windows code. But they put some great stuff there. And they're participating with a lot of those companies that are right after. So I don't know if you see the number quite yet, but there's like 1,600,000 of, yes.
You just mentioned Windows. I know for a fact that Microsoft gave the open source of Windows to Brazil, and they gave it translated in Portuguese. Why not give it to the rest of the world?
So the question is, Microsoft gave the source code for Windows in Brazil, yes. Even with the translation in Portuguese. So why not doing this everywhere also? It's a good question. I personally have no idea. I think that Windows is a huge piece of software, even with all the change that they've done in the past. I would just find that at some point we'll see Windows maybe on GitHub, but I cannot say if that's going to happen or no. But let's be honest, like it's one of the main products of Microsoft, so I don't know at which point that may happen. There are still so many other things they can work on. So again, like I have no answer, but maybe who knows? That could be a good move, or no, I don't know. Yeah. Great, dude. Yeah.
No, I think that kind of an answer is beyond the scope of what like we can talk to at our level. I mean, that's a discussion that corporates have. I think everyone's kind of looking to us in the future in terms of what our operating system will take a look at, because that business, while it's steady, isn't where we see the future as, right? So I think the inevitability at some stage, there'll probably be some form of open sourcing. Why don't we open it up so that other countries can help us do translations, essentially, is what you're mentioning, right? So Brazil did Portuguese translation, right?
No. They gave up to, strangely enough, Portuguese is the world country that doesn't use proprietary software. It is the open source model of the world, and when they wanted to develop their own voting system, Microsoft gave away the OS translated in Portuguese so they could develop their voting system for Portugal, for Brazil.
So they're going to update their voting system for Portugal?
No,
with the open source.
But translated in Portuguese. Okay. And Microsoft put a research center in Brazil, even though the whole country doesn't use proprietary software.
Right.
So it is strange.
Yeah, that's strange.
The only country that doesn't buy Microsoft gets the US, and all the other countries, such as Canada, that pays a hell of a lot of money for Microsoft products, doesn't get the US.
Yeah. So I guess just to be personally open with this, I don't have an answer.
But prior to the conference, I told you I was going to be a shit.
Trouble.
And so here's another thing about being open with this, right? Like, please be the server. I swear, but I'm not supposed to. But please disturb, please be critical of what I say on the stage, even though I'm here as a source representative of the company. So to your point, this is my opinion as Ray. So if I'm not here next year, maybe it's because I've mentioned something here. But I believe there's obviously some kind of other play out in that particular agenda. Yeah. But I mean, I think the core thing to take a look at there, and there's definitely a monetary thing, let's be critical of it. But I think the core thing there is that could we have seen this happen before with an open source, at least in an aspect of Windows? Like the big breadwinner, but no, probably not. And I think opening it up just a little bit is maybe something a little further down the line than that. The way I see it is that we're trying to find new ways to, again, be more relevant in today's world. And to open source it in that manner, to bring collectively a new way to engage in innovation that would not be receptive to us is a strategy. Now, how that plays into open source, I can't say. It's not really an open source thing, but it's certainly a business play, and that's my sort of open way of giving you an answer without really giving an answer. I have to ask corporate about that, and it's true.
One more question from the show. Joking, but I think also it's a great idea to do so because you're going to learn from a country that that does not accept non-open source software. So you're going to work with a government that is like that already have the mindset that Microsoft wants to acquire. So I think there's also like that side of the story. But again, we're not part of those decisions. But great question, you troublemaker. So talking about Microsoft, it's funny because it's easy to have like Ray from Microsoft on stage. It's easy to have me. Let's be honest, let's be transparent. Like as I told you, I used to work at Microsoft, and Microsoft is one of my customers now as a freelancer. So I wouldn't do this for a company I would not believe in, or I wouldn't do that talk if I don't believe that it's true. But Microsoft is quite vocal about the fact that they're more open right now. But it's not just Microsoft. Investors also think about different way. And what's interesting, it's from an article from Fortune, and basically they find three main elements, three main reasons why investor likes Microsoft now. And the first one is crazy, I think. It's an open company. Again, I'm not saying this to like brainwash anyone. I'm not saying this to say like, oh my God, this is so cool. Actually, no, I'm saying this to say this is so cool. Like we wouldn't never seen this before. And now people think that, hey, Microsoft is open. Again, not perfect, but it's going in the right direction. It's all in the cloud. And we were talking about Windows before, and this is Fred speaking, like it's my own opinion, but when I was thinking about Microsoft before, for me was Windows, Office Suite, maybe Xbox was the three main, I think, like product of the company where they were making a lot of like either innovation or making a lot of money. And right now, they're all in with Microsoft Azure. They're all in the cloud. And they're so much into the cloud that it's not just about selling cloud computing to people. They use it for their own product. Like Office 365 is running on Azure. There's a lot of stuff with Xbox that is running on Azure. So they're dog-fooding their own technology, which for me is quite interesting because Azure cannot go down. If Azure go down, there's a lot of things with Microsoft that won't work. And they have a hybrid strategy. And in that article, it's talking about the cloud specifically. But for me, I would say that it's part of the overall strategy. They're not getting rid of like what I would say the usual type of Microsoft technology. They're not starting to push away their previous customers or Microsoft developer. Now what they do is like, we continue to do the business as we used to do. But we're going to be more open. We're going to play well with others. So we're going to think about open source. And this is like a really marketing-ish type of slide. But given the news, they start to think that Microsoft maybe is not that bad. So I know it's kind of like a little bit of hey, love Microsoft. But I think we're still in an era where we need to start those kind of talk in an open source conference like this. Because we need to remember people that it's huge. It's a long-term process. We need to let people know that there's maybe a lot of things you don't know about because you don't look at what Microsoft is doing. But there's a lot of change, and it's coming from a long way. And I really think that it's only the beginning. So there's a lot of great change. And one of this is Microsoft Azure. And one of the good offers when it comes to open source is the IaaS. And I will let Ray talk to you about this.
Thanks, Fred. First off, thank you everyone for being here today. I know it's tough right after lunch to be listening to a presentation like this, but I'm glad you're here. And what I would hope that you would get out of what Fred's telling you is a story about cultural change, right? I mean, Microsoft's biggest cultural change for us is trying to tell our story about what we're doing in open source. And it's a hard one. We have legacy, and as you saw Fred's first or second slide, the whole Microsoft communism part of it. And yeah, Steve Ballmer did say those things, right? And we're not trying to admit it's true. But we're trying to change that story. I think the story that I want to go from at this point, the transition point of it at least, to talk about our change from the top down. And it starts with, again, Satya up here on the top left. Basically openly saying that Microsoft loves things. And this is just the beginning of the story. And another cultural change here that I want to talk about is the people within the company. We have Mark Hill, VP of Open Source. We've got Jose Miguel Pereira, who is one of our market managers. We have Keith Lu, who is OSS lead for Canada itself. And myself, I am the Open Source Technology Solution provider, on a Blackwell team. It's a long name, I know. We're getting there, we're working on it, but it's the first step in this direction. I've only been on this job for 3 months. I was resistant to coming on for many years until I've seen a change in direction. So I just want you to understand where I'm coming from as well. So it's kind of funny, when I met Fred was at Microsoft, I was freelancing, then he left, we were both out freelancing, then now I'm in, and he's out, so this is where we're at today. So more on what we're trying to do. So the story, what I want to try to get at today is to say it's a very hard story, very hard when you're trying to change culture. And Microsoft, we want to start off with that as an example in terms of our OSS change. And I know that it's hard for organizations to also change their culture internally to switch to cloud. Now, by show of hands, how many of you are in an organization that's already switched to cloud? How many of you have some kind of hybrid? Yeah. How many are still on-prem? Fully. Yeah, and okay, so now here's my next question. How many of you who are on-prem now are internally trying to champion, change the culture internally, to say we need to start moving some workload into the cloud, whichever provider. I'm not here to sell out. Yeah, right? And how many of you believe that it's a change in culture from the top down in order to think that way, right? Yeah. So, I mean, we started off with Microsoft's open source story about how it was hard. Like, here are some more examples of where we're trying to show our commitment to it, right? So we put SQL Server on Linux. I know that's not open sourcing SQL, so that's a whole other discussion. But we see the movement, right, that the market is going towards. We want to make sure that our customers have choice, and that's really what it comes down to when we are trying to say that we're open. We are not trying to lock you into our technology stack. We also understand that in the end, when it comes to cloud computing, that is in the client's best interest. We know the market's moving that way. Do we want all your business? I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't mind myself. But we also understand that it's not going to be a single platform provider in the future. Other things that I'd like to note is that here's the funny thing about Microsoft. We create Windows Server, and yet we also support Linux. And from the top right quadrant of what I want you to get from there is that today our workloads on our public cloud is 1 in 3 virtual machines being fired up are Linux VMs. And this number is up since April when it was 1 in 4. So we're growing there, and this is, again, another reason why we understand that this is where the market, we're listening to our customers, we're seeing the actual metrics that are coming back into it. And as a result, there as well, we made significant partnerships in the ecosystem, right? So Red Hat, has anyone read about a Red Hat partnership? Heard about it? No hands. Okay. So back in November, we made partnerships. This is something that we feel is a very strong strategy in our commitment to. We partnered with Red Hat to the degree that our ticketing system is integrated with Red Hat's, especially on Azure. Okay. And the second thing is that the support team for Red Hat in Redmond is in the exact same building and use the exact same ticketing system as our Azure team. So if you have a Red Hat support ticket, right, and it's on Azure, it's all in one system. Okay, so that's one huge thing. I think something else that has happened very recently is our partnership with Jenkins. So if you're doing CI/CD type workflows, we have a strong partnership there. And we've also released very recently certifications around Linux workloads on Azure. All right, and we partnered with the Linux Foundation to provide that. So again, we're trying to keep your skill sets relevant on both Microsoft and Linux stack. 15 minutes, okay. So other things too is that we made significant hires. So here's 2 employees. Ross Howard, who's the president of Apache. Women, I can never pronounce his last name. Came from Oracle. And also another one that's not on here is Brendan Burns, who was at Google, worked on Kubernetes. So if you're in the container space, that is a significant win for us because we're trying to develop an ecosystem within Microsoft and the community at large as well. So our story continues, right? We're trying to provide open source solutions for you. This is where we're at right now in terms of infrastructure. So primarily our infrastructure is all virtual machines for Linux at the moment. We have some as upgrades as well. But we understand that we have this story for many years, right? We have the private cloud scenario where we have our Microsoft technology stack.net, Windows Server, and so on and so forth. What I want you to understand is that these are partners actually, not only partners but also the software behind it that we support. And this is a commitment from us. And what I want to bring up is we want to have a conversation with you, right? So we want to have a conversation in terms of tooling that you're using, right? We want to understand what your workflow is like so that we can best provide you with the solutions that you work with. And today at our booth, I hope you come by and have a conversation with us. We have our CSAs for the East region, right, that are with us today. So JF Gamache, Alex Bourbois, I think I pronounced his name right, and Alex Sire, who, if you're a partner, please come talk to us about your open source tool set, right? Not just about Azure. If you have questions specific about that, of course we'll answer. We want to hear about what you're doing in terms of your infrastructure today, right? Because we are trying to be honest, we're trying to catch up. We're trying to be what you would want us to be. And we are your first point of contact, right? Because the CSAs, our cloud solution architects outside, are likely the ones who will be assigned to you to help you architect out your public cloud and open source solutions today. So what I want to skip through, and I want to open up for Q&A, because I want to go back to the fact that I would love for servers, I want you guys to challenge anything that I say, or ask me deeper questions about the technology stack. But these are 6 what we call advanced workloads that we have identified as very important to our clients today and what we should go for. And I bring these up because for those of you who are in scenarios where you're kind of in a hybrid scenario or you're still on-prem, you're still fighting to build a business case around why you should switch over to cloud, whoever the provider is, we understand that these are 6 particular workloads that are great. So I'm just going to go through quickly. Enterprise Linux Cloud Infrastructure, so any Linux servers that may have go over to cloud. Development testing, so this is like DevOps, but we understand that it's incredibly hard to switch DevOps practices, which is its own cultural change, onto the cloud immediately, right? So we want to present and talk to you about what are good dev test scenarios for you to have on your team to build that culture and then eventually bubble it up to production. Open source data infrastructure, so all the open source data plays, Insight, and things like that. High-performance computing also in that bucket. And Java Enterprise. You never think you'd hear Microsoft and Java together, but we have great stories that we'd like to share with you, best practices, how to move your enterprise from Java onto the cloud. And also web applications. And this is a big bucket where we're talking about LAMP stacks and more modern, convenient applications, right? So Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node applications. Another thing, too, in terms of being open and trusted, we follow many of these certification practices for security. So for those of you who are in the public sector, we'd love to talk to you about what we've done in terms of making sure we're compliant and being open about that. So drop by the booth, please. I want to leave these. We'll share these with you. These are the workloads that talk about more details. Technology partners behind it to help us get to market with you. And the one thing that I'm really passionate about right now is actually Azure container services, in particular on Azure, but container services in general. Again, we've made big investments in terms of containers and choosing Docker as our main engine. There is a new service coming out, Azure Container Services, which I will talk about, which allow you to stamp out a fully scalable container system with a couple clicks. And again, going back to one of the things I mentioned earlier, is that we made investments. We've actually hired on Brendan Burns from Kubernetes from Google into Microsoft so that we can build it out further. And I hope that speaks to you in terms of that. So I want to open up for questions. And the last thing I want to leave with again is I want to start a conversation and show you the power of infrastructure, okay, on the cloud. And it starts with a story. It starts with building a business case internally in the company, and it also starts with cultural change. And if we can change our culture in terms of open source, hopefully we can help you change your culture internally in terms of being on the public cloud. Again, with whichever provider you want, because there are huge, massive benefits at scale that we provide. And if you have any questions whatsoever in the session, you want to be the server, please, by all means. There are 2 mics, or you can come visit us at our booth. So there are more resources if you don't have any questions today, but really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. It's I know from my point of view, it's very difficult to come to conferences and say, hey, we're Microsoft, we're open. But I appreciate that you've stayed this long and listened to myself and Fred Babylon for as long as we have. Thank you. Any questions? Any more questions?
Just have a couple minutes left. If you have any questions, don't be shy. It's funny because when I was at Microsoft, that kind of talk, I was the one fighting against those. It was like, no, we shouldn't do those kind of talks where it's like, oh, look at us, we're so much better now, blah, blah, blah. But I have the feeling that when they talked to me about like giving a talk, which was great, I was like, no, we need to do this. I'm going to piss off people in the room, so people will be like, yeah, Microsoft bullshit. Like, yeah, they're speaking about those things, it's just marketing, it's not true. Trust me, if I'm on the stage, it's because I believe it's true. So feel free to ask any question. Feel free to go to Luke. Ray will answer any question. They have like way better expert than me. I'm just a useful face for a contract, so just there to smile and take pictures. You don't find this funny at all. Not at all. I was looking at me. No question? Oh yeah.
I think you can buy software as a service from Azure, let's say Drupal or whatever, and you're going to support it, like the updates and everything.
Yes. So, like, you wouldn't buy Drupal per se. So there's a platform as a service play for Drupal. There's one aspect of it. And what happens is that all the patching for Drupal and stuff like that we would buy. But if you have troubleshooting,
So the platform as a service or the software?
platform. So we don't sell you Drupal. Like Drupal, like there's no licensing around it. You can install your own, and we can help you if you have a problem with the VM. Or we actually have a platform as a service one where you can literally just click through and say I want to start a virtual machine with Drupal pre-installed and so on in the store, and it'll stamp down. That's one scenario. Or if you have the I believe it's called app services. If you have an already existing Drupal site and you want to port it over, there's a tool that can convert it over, and will also help to maintain the updates on that one. So there are different scenarios. There's also a marketplace. We have something called the Azure Marketplace, where it could be Drupal or another partner or another ISV has come in and created a VM. And what you will do as a result is spin up their version of Drupal. It installs, and the servicing that you may have in the future goes to the provider who created that virtual machine. So you'd have a direct line with whoever created that virtual machine. So yeah, cool.
Any other questions? What's interesting about your question is that I'm a developer, and I don't pretend to be an IT pro, but I know how to manage a server, and I know how to make my things work. But at some point, I decided that I just want my blog to run. So I put my blog on WordPress on Azure, and I did not even do the installation. I went to the marketplace, I said WordPress, like 4-click, and I was done. And I had the opportunity to modify any settings I wanted after, because I'm not stuck with like a pre-done something. But my blog is working well, and I'm quite happy with it. Any other question? Time for a break for the next talk? I think so. Thanks for your time. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.